somewhere. Radio, they are hearing from somebody, whether they're hearing from their friends, they are learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as I was about to communicate. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Not the same. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. God is learning and being taught about being disrespectful. You have to teach them. You have to teach them. And I describe it as honest and as a lot of us about it. We did. God uses you to communicate with them. So watch now, they get it. They get it from somewhere. Different breeds of teach radio. They are hearing from somebody. God is a friend. Children. God is learning and being taught about what God and children have to be. Go back to Genesis when a man leaves his father, we don't have that with God and children. Some children is harder than others. Not if a child is just lost. But it's just some children is harder than others. You know, you have more than one child, you'll figure that out. But because obedience is not something that's is not a natural thing. It's not something that just comes to them easily. Not even us. You know, obedience is something that you have to actively be willing to do. And so you have to submit to it even as a child. You know, they're a child, but it's a little person. And so, yeah, it's a little person. So they have the same will, or they can exercise their will the same way that you exercise your will. And so they have to be willing to respond to be obedient. Obedience is a choice. Being honored, yeah, that is a choice. So to have a child that do that, thank God. But it don't come as easy to all children as others. Amen? Okay. It's harder than others. But there's a very good reason for this command. Proverbs teaches that those who listen to their parents gain wisdom. A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes. You know, wise children, you know, they respond. Amen. They hear it and they respond. But we got some, yeah, every now and then you got some rebels. But what does that mean? That does not mean that I should alter as a father. I should still stay a father. Spiritually, I should still stay a father. That doesn't mean that I change in regards to how I act or how I respond. You know, God has a whole lot of rebellious children. Yeah, you got a whole lot of them. And you think about the one or two that you got is difficult. Try what he has. So if God remains God in the midst of their spirit of rebellion, then we have to remain fathers in regards to however they choose to respond. You know, we want the wise child, the one that responds to rebuke, but every now and then you just ain't gonna get that one. But it cannot change me as a father. I have to continue to strive to be spiritual as a father, because hopefully they come to their right mind and get back where they're supposed to be. And when they do get to their right mind and come back where they're supposed to be, guess who has to be there? The father or the mother. And you got to be there. You got to be ready to respond properly. Yes, sir.
Just a light just came on. I never thought of it this way. Have you ever, when you read that scripture, consider Christians as children?
Oh yeah.
Obeying God.
Yes, sir.
I know we are supposed to, and I know that and recognize it, but for some reason that scripture just came to me saying, have we ever consider ourselves and put ourselves in there?
Yes, sir.
And when you say we have some obedience and some not so obedient,
yes, sir.
That just kind of fit us.
Absolutely.
God is always the same.
And God is always the same. You know, yeah. And there you go. He disciplines us. Now, I'm not saying you don't discipline your child, but I'm simply saying that God does not change. He does not alter. Now, we know we got the flesh and all that within us, and we got to work with all that. But ultimately, my goal and my purpose as a father is to be like God as much as I possibly can when it comes to my children. As we said, nobody's perfect, ain't nobody got it all together, but the ideal is that you understand that you got some children that's going to be obedient, you got some that's not. Proverbs 13:1 says, God's design is for children to learn to honor and obey their parents as they grow up so they can live wisely, and so they have to learn to what? Honor and obey their parents. That's something they have to learn to do. You would think that they were naturally born and they would naturally do this, but that's not the nature of sin. That's just not the nature of sin. The nature of sin is to rebel. That's just the natural nature of sin. If you miss that, then we can respond in ways that makes a bad situation worse.
I think of the prodigal son.
Especially when it comes to fathers. Yeah.
I think of the prodigal son, but there's two sons that had the same, choice, but they went different roads.
Yes.
And one just went horribly wrong.
Yes.
But using the father scenario, that son who squandered everything and went really bad could have went after he went that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Could have went a different direction, but what did he do? He came back to his father.
Right.
So if you raise a child in the way that they should go, you did what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And even if that child strays, who is he going to come back to?
But even with that, when we look at that, we look at the father and how the father responded in both situations, with both sons, with the one that left and the one that was in the house. The father remained the father, regardless of how his children acted. And so when it comes to us, that's vital and that's important in regards to raising or dealing with our young people. That long suffering or patience or endurance, those things, all those attributes that God tells us to have as Christians. If you have any children, you're going to have it. Amen. All right. As they grow up, so that they may live wisely. And that's the whole purpose. The whole purpose is that, God teaches us what he teaches us, that we may be able to live wisely in an ungodly world, because we live in an ungodly world. And so in order to be able to do that, we have to be able to live wisely, and we need instruction for that. Yes, sir.
In all reality, we're dealing with society dictating the conduct of our young people.
Yes.
Like Trian said.
Yes.
My question is, how do we counter that in a home with Christian parents dealing with that type of conduct?
Well, I think we follow God's pattern, but I think it's I think we should strive to raise them to not fit into the world where they don't fit. And how you raise them where they don't fit? We strive to teach them righteousness, what God would have them to be and how God would have them to be. And don't deviate from it. Too many times people deviate or they compromise. And when you compromise Christ, especially with young people, they're looking for a loophole. They're looking for something to where, you done this or this happened or this. So we don't compromise Christ, but you got to raise them to where they don't fit. They don't fit. And that's not a cure-all to whatever the situation may be, because children are different, but we're losing a lot of them to the world because culture is attractive. Culture is attractive, and they get out there, and then if you haven't put in them what should be put in them, then whatever it is that's going out there, whatever it is that's going on out there, they get sucked up into it. They get sucked up into it. They don't know how to come out of it. Yes, sir.
Real quick, one thing I've done, it may not work with everybody, but I used to hide my mistakes from my girls. And when I start telling them some of the mistakes and bad things I've done, they start listening
Yeah, that too. Yes, that's definitely vital, because a lot of times our parents, not parents, but our children, if they don't realize that you have made mistakes, then you, in their mind, they put you on a pedestal that's unreal. And you have to be able to communicate to them to let them know, look, I'm not perfect. I ain't made all the right decisions myself in life. And we've always tried to encourage our children, we're trying to encourage you to live life better than what we had to do and how we had to come up. We had to do certain things, or we have to go through certain things because we did not have what you have. And because you have what you have, we want to encourage you to be better, to do different. It's a task. It's an everyday task. But each generation should get better. Each generation should get better. The generation preceding after the next, it should not get worse. And something that has been a major drop off between generations, and so now the generation is coming up now, they're not getting better, they're getting worse. And so there's that disconnection there. You got so many broken families, you got so many broken homes, and then they come into a body, or they come to folks that ain't striving to do what they supposed to be doing, and so they don't have the right examples of how they should be functioning and operating. And so when a child left to his own will bring mother to shame. Yes, sir.
Okay. I was 6 years old when my father died. And I guess I grew up not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have that. I go to my friend's house, and their father like cutting grass or working or something like
Yeah.
that. My friend didn't want to go play.
Yeah.
Let's go play ball. Let's go there. No, let's go there. I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
Let's go help him.
Yeah.
And finally, the father would say something like, "You guys go play.
Mm-hmm.
You guys go play." It wasn't until I was grown that I realized what he meant by that. Why he did this
Yes.
was because this is what he wanted his child to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And as I grew, had children of my own, I realized how that was.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, that's enough.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I think it's good for parents to let your children know that they have made mistakes, and some of the mistakes that they won't fall into.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's when I sit down and I tell talk to my children, that's the whole purpose of it. Don't fall in the same pit holes that we had to fall in or that we fell in, because you don't have the same thing that we had. You got much more. And so take it and run with it. That's a perfect example. You was the abnormal child. You wasn't a normal child, because you want to go mow grass instead of going to go play. But even, with my son, before he left and went off to the Air Force, I would go out and he would see me do these things on a regular, go mow the grass, cut the grass, and do all these type of things on a regular basis. He had a friend come over one day, and my son was like, "I'm gonna go outside, I want to go cut the grass." His friend was like, "You want to cut the grass? You want to do these things?" But in my son's mind, he's thinking, this is what I'm going to be doing when I become a father. I want to grow up and I want to have a family like Dad. I want to cut the grass. I want to do these things. This is in his mindset. But his friend didn't have that. His friend didn't have that. And so it's that image that has been imprinted on him over a process of time, that he understands, okay, this is what a father does. This is what a dad does. And so this is what I want. So he cutting the grass in his mind, he's thinking, okay, I'm taking care of the family. Which is what he's doing. You're doing something, but in his mind, I'm doing what my father is doing. And so many times we don't have that example. And that's detrimental. I saw a hand in the back.
Do you think a man without kids can be a good example for children?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Can he be a good example for children?
Do you think a man without kids can still instill those qualities into a young man if he does not have kids?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. He's a man. Yeah. You don't have to bear the child to raise the child. You're a man. And so whatever he's going through, he's not going through anything different. You know, he's still a man.
The reason I ask that because I don't have kids, but I brought along a lot of little
Yeah.
nephews and things. But you hear some people say that because you don't have children, how can you tell a child what to do? And I beg to differ 24/7 against that.
Yeah.
Because I have been a child
Right.
and was raised by parents,
Right.
adults, so I too know
Yeah.
what and what not to do. I may not be there 24/7
Yeah.
with the child going through all the things, you know, as far as being there every day in and out of their lives.
Right.
But I do think I like your answer that yes, a man can still do that.
Yes, absolutely. When you know, it would be no different than raising a stepchild. You know, if you have a stepchild, it's not biologically, he or she is not biologically your child, but you raise the child. So, you know, I don't understand why people would say that. You know, then if you're a young person, you ain't never had any children, then it might be difficult for you. But no, shouldn't be no problem. Yes, sir.
And I got that. I exactly know where you're coming from. But I've been in that same state too. And as a youth minister, you know, I've even had even leadership say, you know, how can you be a youth minister and you haven't, you know, had any children? And but I ministered for a long time, working with young people, and I had a contact with people because I've always related with my teenagers because I was a teenager. You know, I've always related to them because I'm a man. I've done those things, and I've gone that route, or I knew the path. But also, more than anything else, what was dynamic about why I can do that is because I studied the Word of God, you know, and I followed the teachings of God, and that's what I was doing as a youth minister, and helping them, you know, being someone that can bring them up in the ways that they should go. And so, in a sense, I listened to them, you know, I just kept doing what I know was right. And it's a very tough thing. I understand, I can relate, very tough, but I still did it regardless.
And Walter, a lot of single mothers here in the church are looking for brothers like you.
Amen. Yeah. You can come on up Jasper Street. Yeah, I can take care of you real quick. Okay. Amen. Lord have mercy. Even young Jesus, though he was the Son of God, obeyed his earthly parents. As a result, he grew in wisdom. The Bible says that children who are not disciplined or who fail to obey their parents are much worse off in life, which is absolutely true. When you fail to obey your parents, you fail to honor your parents, and that's part of honoring your parents, by obeying your parents. That is a choice. As we said, for a child, that is a choice. It is a choice for them to obey you. I know we think, well, that's my child, you ain't got no choice. Yeah, they have a choice. And they choosing to do what's right. When you're telling them what to do, they're choosing to do what's right. And therefore, that's honoring you.
Yeah.
That's respecting you. That's the honor. My child listens to what I instruct them to do. Okay, we got about 10 more. I got to hurry and get through this. Go ahead. Go to the next side. Where's my daddy? Broken down by race, however, the statistics show stark differences. The percentage of white children under 18 who live in both parents almost double that of black children. According to the data, while 74.3% of all white children below the age of 18 live with both parents, only 38.7% of African American minors can say the same. Instead, more than 1/3 of all black children in the United States under the age of 18 live with unmarried mothers, compared to 6.5% of white children. The figures reflect a general trend. During the 1960s to 2016 period, the percentage of children living with only their mother nearly tripled from 8 to 23%, and the percentage of children living with only their father increased from 1 to 4%. Social scientists have long espoused the benefits of children who live in two-parent homes, including economic, educational, health, and other advantages. There are so many type of advantages that comes with our children by having a two-parent home, that's functioning according to the will and according to the way of God. Economic, educational, health, many other advantages that children receive just by having that fatherly structure there, having that whole unit that God has put there for it to be intended to be. God intended for children to be raised by two people, a father and a mother. No matter what person say, well, I'm a mother and I'm a father and a mother. You can't be that. Can't do it. Yeah, my mama, she was my daddy and mama. I don't know, she wasn't. She did what she could. Thank God for her. It's the same thing with a father. You can't be a father and a mother. It's absolutely impossible. You know, I thank God for my wife. I thank God for my wife. I got one boy and 3 daughters. No way in the world. I mean, I could do it, but I would be missing, just the things that she do and what she understands and be able to communicate and deal with them. I would tremendously miss that if she was not there. And so you need both units because that's how God intended it for it to be. You need that man now because that man can teach things that woman cannot. She just don't understand. You know, I remember when my son was getting older, he was getting around about 15, 16, and his voice was changing. He was getting a little deeper. And my wife would call him and he would answer, yeah, mom, yes, ma'am. And she would, stop yelling at me. And I tell her, baby, his voice just changing. He not yelling at you. It's just getting deeper. But in her mind, she felt like he was yelling at her. You know, and so he's not being disrespectful to you, but you need those 2 units there. And so there are great disparities that happen within families when that part is missing. If that father is not there, if he's not engaged, if he's not involved in that child's life, it's a lot of issues that come from that. We got a lot of men that deal with insecurities, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, a lack of courage. You got a lot of grown men that function in that way. Why? Because there was no father there. There was nobody, that example was not there. And so what they have to do is grown men, they're trying to figure it out as a grown man. Brother Mackins, did you have something? Oh, okay, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, because I want to...
Stop.
In Bible class, it taught me a lot, because I didn't know how to be a real man, but I thought I was a real man in the world, but I wasn't that. And I used to come to Bible study, and I was very insecure because there were so many women and there were no men. So I couldn't be a man because I grew up in a household with a lot of women. You see what I'm saying? And I was wondering why there were so many women involved in church. And I didn't see the women with it. And it kind of bothered me. I was insecure. I couldn't be myself. Anxiety, fear, all of it. It just attacked me. I was shaking and trying to read out loud. Like, I know I could read, but I was just nervous. I mean, I was trying to find out so what was wrong. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it over.
But how much time I got left? Okay. But when we look at these statistics, these statistics are, they're alarming. And this stuff, it tremendously affects us. A lot of the issues that we deal with in society, if we just came together, as men, as African-American men, if we just came together and functioned together, a lot of these issues that we could actually deal with. This right here is a phenomenal thing. If we just faced it, rather than acting as if it's not there, it's a reality. It's a situation. So you gotta deal with it because it's our children's children. And if it's not in our children, then what are they going to teach their children? So go to the next slide. Let me see if we can get the fatherless effect. The effects of growing up without a dad. More likely to be aggressive. Why are young people so aggressive and they get so angry? Well, number one, he's an African-American young male. He got to deal with the society that he's living in. He don't have nobody that's setting no type of positive example of how to deal with troubles and issues that may be going on. And so naturally, as a young man, he's going to do what? He's going to naturally respond in an aggressive manner because he's a young man. That's what's going to happen. If he's not taught anything different, if he's not taught to be, any other way, I know that's how we was taught coming up. Look, you don't let nobody say nothing to you. You don't let nobody do nothing to you. We go out in the yard, my uncles, we get into an altercation. You go in the house and say, hey, that guy out there messing with me. My uncle tell you, look, you better go back out there and deal with him. That's how you dealt with your problems. You dealt with them in forms of aggression. There was no, self-control. There was no patience. There was no dealing, let God work and all. No, it was you get out there and you deal with whoever trying to deal with you. That's how you dealt with it. And so when you get in that case, when the father is not there, the child, especially a young man, is going to respond aggressively to whatever's coming his way. More likely to respond to aggressive. The country is oppositional and flagrantly unfair right now. This is what God told Joshua in 1:9. He said, "Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed, for the Lord thy God will be with thee whatsoever thou goest." And so what God told Joshua is to what? Be strong and be of good courage. Be strong and be of good courage. Young men need to know that. Be courageous. Yeah, be strong. Don't let nobody just suck you into anything. Don't understand what's going on. Don't respond to every time you get provoked. Yeah, yeah, because that's what happens. They provoke you, you respond, you dead. So don't respond to every time they provoke you. But if you don't know that, and all you know is I need to protect myself and aggressively protect myself, then naturally as a young man, that's what you're going to do. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, especially if you got girls and boys.
Yes.
That's a valuable thing, having a father.
Yes.
Have girls and boys.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of times the mother's going to disagree with certain situations.
Mm-hmm.
And the man is going to disagree with certain situations about the girl.
Right.
So you have to balance the whole situation when it occurs.
Absolutely.
Lord, I was taking all my daughters to the doctor, and I done for you because I was in the military.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the doctor one time. One of my daughters got of age, and the doctor said, "Dad, you want to come in and sit with the daughter?"
Uh-huh.
My daughter looked at me, and I figured it out.
Yeah.
And I went back out, and I came home and told my wife, "You start taking these girls to the
Yes, sir.
things like that, you just take things for granted, you don't see it. Then we had issues where the son disagreed, and I said, "Wait a minute." I said, "I'm a man." I said, "Listen to what I got to say about my boy.
Right.
He's saying some things that you or a woman that you can't
That's right.
concerned about how he feels about different things."
Absolutely.
So that balance is so important, raising those kids when you have female and male in the household.
Absolutely.
A husband and a wife in that house.
Yes, sir.
Is so important.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I completely agree with you. As I said, I have 3 daughters, and good God, when all that stuff come up, I have absolutely nothing. Hey, look here. Thank God for your mama, cause I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna be honest. I have absolutely no idea what to tell you. So you need that whole, you need that whole unit. You need that there. Okay, let me try to get through these last couple of ones, brother. More likely to be depressed. They need reassurance and emotional support. More likely to have low self-esteem, for the Spirit of God, this is what Paul told Timothy, for the Spirit of God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of love and power and of a sound mind. More likely to do poor in schools. Lack of motivation and effort. They're more likely to be incarcerated or commit suicide. Faithless, hopeless, cowardless, plagued by doubt and insecurity, possessing an inability to see themselves successful. All these things in regards to the effects of the fatherless effect. More likely to use drugs according to addictions or unhealthy habits. The rod of reproof give instruction back to a child left to himself, bringing her mother to shame. That balance goes back to what this brother here just said. You have to have that balance in between the two, between that mother and that father. Not only do you need to love, but we need to correct as well. And that's that balance that comes in there. Some things we just can't deal with, as you said. Some things, but the effect of the father being in the household is tremendous upon that child in regards to how they grow up and how they function. But not just having him there, but having him involved in the child's life. All right. Okay. I got to close out, brother. I'm trying to stay on schedule. And we'll pick up. All right. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna be quiet and let you have it. Amen. Thank you, brothers.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Brothers, to stay on course and on our time that we have allowed, we'll give Brother Perry the opportunity to pick up on this and finish up if he has any more dealing with the family. You have a 5-minute break. It's 25 minutes till. You can go take water break, restroom break, come back about 20 till. We'll take our group shot. Once we take our group shot, we'll have a song, and we'll have Perry come right back up and finish giving us his presentation and giving us what we need to hear. Amen. Everyone in agreement? 5 minutes, guys, and be back in here in 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, guys, got a couple minutes and then I need everyone back in here. So, get a word.
Around a lot of boys. There's some boys, one girl, my cousin, them live with us.